Welcome to the Growth Through Adversity podcast, where men are forged, not coddled. Here we dive deep into the path of true transformation in pursuit of physical, mental, spiritual, and temporal growth. We talk training, nutrition, business, mindset, and spirituality. We embrace strength and we loathe ease. We reject weakness in every form and cultivate power, the will to power itself. This is the rebirth of modern man. Raw masculinity, tempered by reason, virtue, and right action. Because nothing of value is earned without sacrifice. Let's begin our apotheosis together. Welcome to another episode of the Growth Through Adversity podcast with your host, Ragnar the Warwolf. What is up, people? So we are going to talk about late night snacking, man. It is something that derails so fucking many of my clients. I hear about it all the time. It's like, man, and it's so discouraging because it's like you suffer all day, you do super good, you don't eat the shit you're not supposed to eat, and then like that late night craving hits you, and it's like, bam, straight for the ice cream, or bam, straight for the sweets, and it just gets out of control. And you end up eating way more than you had intended, and you don't have the self-control to stop yourself. And this alone, it's like the calories that we can add in one bad late night binge, literally one night of like a bad ice cream binge, can be enough to not only take you all the way out of a caloric deficit if you're in a moderate deficit, but actually put you up into a caloric surplus to where now we're actually gaining fat, which is super frustrating because it's like you feel like you're starving all week, and it's amazing how little these high threshold foods take to get us out. So the best way to combat this is, number one, to identify what it really is and what's driving it. So 9 times out of 10, when we're hungry at night, it's because we didn't do something right during the day. Typically, what I see is these late night cravings are oftentimes driven by a lack of protein. So if we're low on protein at nighttime, it disrupts our cortisol circuits, it disrupts our internal hormonal circuits and our satiety circuits, and our brain starts to think that we're starving. And when our brain thinks that we're starving, what it wants, what it craves is high energy foods. High energy foods are easily digested carbohydrates and fats. Those are where you get the highest amount of protein or the highest amount of calories for the smallest amount of food in the shortest amount of time. It's why our body craves it. We are experts at starvation, right? Humans spent a huge part of our prehistory in basically a state of varying states of starvation. Our metabolism got very good at starving, and it really started to reward us through the dopaminergic circuits for, you know what I mean, finding these high energy, high threshold foods, whether that's animal fats or nowadays, refined sugars. So the problem with that is we're not starving anymore. We live in a state of abundance. We actually have too much food around us for the first time in our evolutionary history over the last few hundred years. And so that circuitry is really one of our worst enemies. And it's why there is an obesity epidemic in the West, because everything is at our fingertips and our body is literally rewarding us for eating all this shit that we're not supposed to eat. So the best thing that we can do to stave off this nighttime craving at its like fundamental level is to make sure that we're getting adequate protein throughout the day. If we're not getting adequate protein throughout the day, it's going to manifest as a craving before bedtime. And again, our body is going to reward us for eating these high threshold foods with a dopamine blast. And then we're going to feel guilty afterwards, and we're still going to be fat, and it's going to suck, right? So that's number one. If you're craving salty things at night, ironically, you're probably dehydrated. So what does sodium do at its fundamental molecular level? It carries H2O into your cells, right? So it helps you hydrate at a cellular level. So if you don't drink enough water during the day, like I have not today, I'm a bottle behind and I need to get on top of my shit, then what's going to happen at nighttime is you're going to crave sodium, right? Because your body's going to feel like it needs to get those nutrients into its cells. So you're going to go reaching for the bag of chips. So those are the two biggest ones that I see people get, is the sweets craving at night, generally driven by inadequate protein, and the salt craving at night, you know what I mean? Generally driven by inadequate hydration. So if you can fix these at their core levels, e.g., you can make sure you're super hydrated and make sure you're eating enough protein every single day, then you're not going to have nearly as bad of a craving at night. And then we just need to work on the psychological side of it. So obviously the other component to a late night craving is that again, it's sugar related. It's tied into our dopamine circuits. It's the same circuits that reward you for having sex or doing all the fun things that we like to do. So we've got to combat that at like a fundamental level, right? So there's a few ways that I have found to be that are really like productive for that. Number one, like if you have really strong discipline, willpower, great. If you don't, then you need to create something to distract you in the evenings from that craving. If you know that you can't win that war, if you can win that war, cool, then win it. You know what I mean? Just tell yourself, no, we're not going to eat ice cream tonight. And what I've seen helps with that is give yourself scheduled rewards, right? So if it's like, every Saturday I'm going to have, if it's like we're using ice cream, I fucking hate ice cream personally, but we're using ice cream for an example. So I'll keep rolling with this. So if it's like ice cream, if you just love ice cream's your favorite thing in the world, you're on a diet, you want to lose all this weight. So you're like, man, I can't eat any ice cream. Like literally just like schedule one day a week where you're going to have a finite amount of ice cream, whether it's 1 cup or whatever, we're going to have a scoop of ice cream on Saturday, right? That makes it a lot easier to have that internal dialogue and negotiation with yourself when you're standing there on the threshold of the kitchen at 9:30 at night and you're like, damn, ice cream really sounds good right now. You can be like, no, fuck that. I agreed that if I don't eat any ice cream throughout the week, then on Saturday, I'm going to give myself 1 scoop of ice cream. And you can kind of hotwire those dopamine circuits, those dopaminergic circuits by promising yourself a reward. Also, that's going to be incredibly fulfilling and incredibly satisfying, much more than just giving into the indulgence of eating the ice cream right then, because not only have you agreed to eat the ice cream, you've agreed on the parameters of how you will eat that ice cream, when you will eat that ice cream. And so that comes with a level of delayed gratification. You put this off, you've scheduled it in, it's built into your macros on a weekly basis. And so now it's no longer like a problem. So for me personally, and a lot of my clients over the years, I've found that the cheat meal to be absolutely essential in kind of hot wiring and overcoming the dopamine side to it. Now, another side is just like physical stimulus, like literally. And if at night, at 9 o'clock at night, every night, you're like, man, I really want to eat some ice cream. Like, okay, so at 9 o'clock at night, don't be at fucking home. Like literally go out for a walk, go do something somewhere else. Get yourself out of that area and that environment where the ice cream is available. Literally just extricate yourself from it. I found that activity can be a very good medicine for that. Also, if you do a walk at night, if you're somewhere where you can, you're going to sleep better. Like studies have shown that repetitively. I've noticed that myself. If I do some kind of exercise, I usually take the dogs out and exercise them, let them run the ball, and the fresh air, a little bit of movement, light activity. It all has an amazing effect on kind of like cueing in those circadian rhythms, helping your central nervous system calm down, being immersed in something that's like physical, that's moving your body, get you out of the cortisol, the stress circuit of just like sitting there and, you know what I mean, stressing out about things, which is horrible for your sleep. And just go out there and kind of move a little bit is really going to help break that up. That does, whatever it is, just like get yourself out of that situation and to where you're just away from it. So those are kind of like the root causes that I see that actually cause it. So obviously, like we want to hit these from both angles. We want to, number one, like we want to get adequate nutrition throughout the day, enough protein to where we're not craving sugar at night, and enough hydration to where we're not craving sodium at night. So those are the two biggest that I see repetitively cause people problems. And then number two, like we want to come up with some kind of alternative routine in the evenings if it's that serious and we just cannot control ourselves and we cannot be around there to where we're out of there. If you go for a walk instead at 9 o'clock, you're kind of replacing that habitual pattern of eating ice cream with walking. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight, but it's something that you can kind of retrain yourself for. And then last but not least, like scheduled rewards, I think are super important to stave off diet fatigue, because like dieting and we humans don't like psychologically to feel hopeless, right? We don't like to feel like there's no end in sight. Even something as trivial as a diet, like if you're a person that loves food, you don't want to feel hopeless. You don't want to feel like our psychologically, we just don't like it, right? I don't think it's very like productive psychological state to keep yourself in. So give something as stupid as a scheduled cheat meal can break that up. Like, and I do this religiously. Like if I didn't have my cheat meals on Saturday, like there, no way. Like I would break down in the week, and it is literally like that cheat meal anchor that when I'm like, everybody's eating pizza around me and I'm like choking down disgusting fucking dry chicken breast and rice for the fucking fifth time in a day and the 100th time in a month, that I'm able to just do it because it's like, well, cool. On Saturday, I'm going to eat pizza and I'm going to feel a lot better about it on Saturday because I've set that as my intention. And all week, I'm going to do super good and I'm going to stick to my meal plan. And then I'm also satisfied. I'm proud of myself. I'm fulfilled. It's a tiny battle. The more tiny battles we can win with ourselves, the more we grow on just like an esoteric self growth type level. So that's all I've got for tonight for my little TED talk. Like I said, this one's pretty simple, but ultimately, like sometimes it's the simplest things that have the highest leverage. Like I said, if you're giving into this and you're eating like really shitty food right before bedtime, it's going to cause problems. Also, another great point is like Jimmy came up with his Greek yogurt. This was one of the meals I gave him a very long time ago, and he just was like, he hated Greek yogurt. He wouldn't eat it. So he found a way to make Greek yogurt that he liked, and he literally puts honey in it. He puts the Greek yogurt in, puts some mixed berries in it, and he mixes it all up. And it's like ice cream, right? I mean, it's not ice cream, but it's very similar. And whereas ice cream would be, 700 or 800 calories, for a bowl of it, this is like 250, 300 calories and super high protein. It's like 30 to 40 grams of protein, like 2 scoops of Greek yogurt. So another good way is to like find an alternative to what you like to eat to fill those cravings. Again, like be careful. I do think like all of this kind of ties together. And then you're gonna have to build that into your macros. If you're gonna eat that every night, great, but it's gonna have to be built into your calories and macros, subtracted from it. Because ultimately at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how clean or good for you food is relative to the other food. If you're overeating, you're gonna gain weight. And it's not going to be the right kind of weight unless you're very controlled in how you're overeating and how you're training. So that is all I've got for the evening. If anybody has any questions, you guys are free to fire them away. I'm not in any hurry to get out of here. And I'm happy to answer any questions or just bullshit. So if you guys want to ask me anything or throw anything out there, unmute yourself and go for it.
Hey, dude. So my doctor said that I was a little dry on my blood thing. So he's like, drink some Gatorade, right? And so I was like, Gatorade, this shit's full of sugar and stuff. So I found Gatorade Zero,
Yep.
and so I've been hitting on that every day. I mean, I'm old school. I try to the color of my piss,
Yeah.
whatever color it is. That's kind of how I judge that I'm drinking enough water.
Yeah.
Other than I pay attention because I use these little, the quart glasses that I have and I drink with all day.
Sure.
And but that Gatorade Zero, that seems like a good, right? You didn't hear anything bad about that, right?
No, Gatorade Zero is fine. It's literally just like any of the other, instead of the sugar that they had in it, they've replaced it with aspartame or whatever. And just like the zero sugar energy drinks, nothing wrong with it. And then it's got like a little bit of sodium in it. So same thing, like, electrolytes will do the exact same thing. But if you enjoy the Gatorade Zero, like I said, you're not getting any extra calories from it. You are getting
Yeah,
trace amounts of electrolytes. I don't think there's much in Gatorade compared to like an LMNT, like an actual electrolyte packet. But you're getting some, so it's helpful.
you've used those packets before, the electrolyte packets. I
I
mean,
use
I
the
think those.
element I use the LMNTs every day. I do one of those every single day.
Thanks. That's good. Some dogs are barking.
The what?
My dogs are barking.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they do that.
That's all I got.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Have a fantastic day. All right, guys, I am out of here. You guys have a fantastic rest of your night, and let's get after it.